Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Chemical Engineer. I am Sahil Yadav, and in this video we are going to see how refineries evolved. Alright, so first of all, subscribe to the channel. Next, we will see how refineries evolved, that is modern refining era. Okay, so first of all, you should know when the first refinery was established. So let me tell you, the first refinery was established in Romania in 1856, and the main purpose of that refinery was only to produce a naphtha, or we can say to convert crude into a possible usage of oil. I mean, they just converted or distill out the oil or crude oil to some oil that can be used for fuel. Okay, so that is how the first refinery was established. So after the refinery established, some modification or some equipments were added to the refinery process or refining process. So let us see what are those components and what was their purpose and what byproducts are formed from it. Okay, so in 1856 first refinery was established. In 1862 the unit called as atmospheric distillation, or we can say the heart of refinery, was generally used first. Okay, so in 1862 we have added atmospheric distillation unit for refining of crude oil. So the main purpose was to produce kerosene. Okay, because earlier the lights, that is what we can call as lamp, used kerosene. Okay, and moreover in all the vehicles also we primarily using kerosene. So in atmospheric distillation, when it was installed, the main purpose was to produce kerosene, but as a byproduct we got naphtha and cracked residuum. Okay, so cracked residuum is what? Cracked product. And a naphtha is the heart of, or we can say the oldest possible, um, I would say the middle product, that is what we form for refining. Okay, then in 1870 we introduced vacuum distillation unit. So vacuum distillation unit was established to produce lubricants. Okay, so lubricants are the oils which are generally used in as a lubricant is nothing but a oil which helps in smooth functioning of machinery or any mechanical equipment. So from that we get asphalt and other residual as a byproduct. Then after installing the distillation unit, it was found that these byproducts can also be converted to some good fuel oils. So we have introduced in 1913, or 1 minute, one thing you should remember, that 20th century is the game changing century for the refining process, because Reliance, the biggest refinery, was established in Jamnagar. Okay, in next video we will see the various refineries that are produced across India. Okay, so in 1930 thermal cracking process was introduced. So thermal cracking, why it is used, why we use it, that we all discuss one by one. In this video you should remember that in 1913 thermal cracking was introduced to increase gasoline yield. Okay, so gasoline yield means to improve the quality as well as to improve the yield means the conversion of crude oil to gasoline. So gasoline yield means the conversion of crude oil to gasoline. So in order to increase the yield of gasoline, thermal cracking process was used. Because thermal cracking, so in petrol we have C8 to C10 components, or we can say the C8 mostly, C7 to C10 components we have in petrol. So in order to crack the bigger chain compounds, we have introduced thermal cracking. Then we have sweetening process. So sweetening is a process which is generally used to improve the octane number and reduce the sulfur from the gasoline. So this was introduced in 1916. So we have byproduct sulfur. This sulfur is then sent to the sulfur refinery. So if you haven't watched the video of chemical process technology, how we produce sulfur or how we make sulfuric acid, please watch it. We have a different playlist known as chemical process technology or chemical technology in chemical engineering. Then 1930 we have thermal reforming process. So reforming is generally used to improve octane number. Then in 1932 we have hydrogenation. So hydrogenation process is generally introduced to remove sulfur, because we have the reaction how to remove sulfur by doing hydrogenation, that is addition of hydrogen. Okay. Then in 1932 we have coking. So coking is generally a process to produce gasoline or to increase the yield of gasoline by removing the residues from the gasoline by in form of coke. Okay, so the main byproduct is coke. Then we have solvent extraction unit in 1933. Look here, in 1932 to 1954 I would say, there is a major process is included in refinery. So we have solvent extraction, solvent dewaxing. So solvent dewaxing is generally used to improve the pour point. So we have a we will see in next or next to next video what is pour point, what is viscosity index, what is octane number. Alright, so these all are the processes that were developed. Then we have catalytic polymerization, catalytic cracking, viscosity breaking, that is to reduce viscosity. So viscosity and pour point are interrelated. Alright, so in order to alkylation is used to byproduct, as we obtain a byproduct as a high octane aviation fuel. Alright, so all these processes were established one by one. So you don't need to remember all those processes, but you should remember the process name and what was its purpose. Alright, like suppose if I ask what is used to reduce sulfur, so your answer should be sweetening process, as well as we can use hydrogenation process. So hydrogenation generally removes sulfur, while in order to reduce sulfur in the product we do sweetening. Alright, we have hydro desulfurization unit, which is 100% effective unit, which is generally used in today's industries. Any industry will have hydro desulfurization unit, because in order to remove sulfur from natural gas we use this hydro desulfurization unit. We have catalytic reforming, de-asphalting unit, fluid catalytic cracking, which is also important process for any refinery, that is used to increase gasoline yield. So we have two processes to increase gasoline yield. So we have thermal cracking and fluid catalytic cracking. So cracking is generally done to increase gasoline yield. Reforming, so we have thermal reforming and catalytic reforming. So thermal reforming is used to improve octane number, while catalytic reforming is used to convert low quality naphtha to others. Then we have inhibitor sweetening, catalytic isomerization. So these all are the various processes that was adopted to increase yield, then conversion, and by that we also got some byproducts. So please try to screenshot this whole table and try to remember it. It will help you. Okay, so if you want to go for petrochemical side, it will definitely help you. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to us and join us on Telegram as well. Alright, thank you.